Hello everyone, I'm James from DINSTAR. Today I will give you some middle level training or intermediate training for how to use our analog gateway and some features you want to configure or some particular parameter you want to set with a different port and so on. So it's quite flexible and can be done by our PBX or our analog gateway. Here we use the hybrid analog gateway. Here we can see that we still use this as demo. Okay, for demo purpose, it's quite easy to configure and support the FXS and FXO already. So let's say start how to configure that. In some case, some advanced user or some expert for configure your PBS or configure your FXO, FXS, maybe you configure your certain parameters for certain requirement. Okay, and how to configure that based your SIP or maybe your TEL FXO port. So it's a question. Okay. And because sometimes we use the one analog gateway just to point to one PBS, but in quite, I think there is seldom time, and you will see that some customer need the config maybe certain port to support, and maybe the second SIP server, maybe you want to configure some parameter for second SIP server, or want to make support for the FXO with SIP headers and so on. So it's quite troublesome, but in our DINSTAR gateway can do that. Okay, and I will show you how to configure that. As you see here, if you log in the system, you will see that there are some menu. One is for IP profile, another is a TEL profile. Okay, the IP profile actually considered as something like related to the SIP server. Okay, and some parameters or some character, some property you can set here, and by default, I got the one is 0. So most of the time, I think the user, if you don't know how to configure some advanced features or parameters, you don't touch that. Just fill in your SIP server address and so on. And this is my default setting up. Here, I point to my PBX. Okay, and I don't set up any digital map and service parameters and so on. So it's not necessary. Sometimes need that. Okay. And you can see here, and the second one, for example, here I want to maybe point my maybe the SIP server to second IP, and want to maybe use different port, and maybe you want to enable the MOH, and maybe you want to set up certain parameter, for example, earlier media, disable, enable earlier media, early answer, and so on, or even the DTMF. Okay, and sometimes codecs you want to maybe set up a codecs or disable certain codecs. Maybe sometimes you want to make SIP encryption. Okay, you also set up this. The TEL profile is control something is control your FXO or FXS. Okay, and for certain port you want to set particular values or parameter that can support that. After that, we go to the port, then select the port. For example, I want to select the end and a certain parameter, a very particular parameter to port 7, support maybe more features or more SIP parameters and so on. So we can see here, I select the port 7. After that, maybe I want to register or enable or disable, up to you. Please make sure you have to know that since I add the IP profile, another IP profile already, you just select your another IP profile, and I also set up the TEL profile already. So you just set the TEL profile. After that, you just save the file. Then your port 7 will be set up with a particular IP profile and the TEL profile. And the parameter, we can say that you want to change, and you can change, up to you. It's quite easy, quite flexible. Okay, you want to disable, enable certain parameter like bracket or early media, early answer, DTMF. You want to maybe set up DTM method with different port. Okay, it's also up to you. Can do that. And DTM gain, you want to adjust the DTM gain up or down, it's also can do that. Even the SIP encryption, RTP encryption, and encryption model, there are a lot of model here. So it's quite flexible. After setup, your port 7 will be bound in with the particular IP profile and tail profile. So you can make it happen for the flexibility, okay? And so this is a very good feature for a certain user if you want to set a particular parameter for the SIP server or maybe the remote side. Want to need more support parameters and so on, so you can set up that. And you don't need to share the very common or default SIP profile. Okay, so you don't want to share with maybe the index 0. You just want to use this one. That's all. It's up to you, and it's quite flexible to do that. So this is our DINSTAR analog gateway for the intermediate advanced training and how to use the IP profile and the tail profile. If you got any questions or any query for configuring your PBS with our analog gateway with some certain particular feature or parameters, you can consider that. You also can email us and follow us with Twitter or link or Facebook, okay? You are welcome to ask us, always welcome to ask us. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.